Hello. Do you know why most of America is obese, even though we get suggested every day by Facebook or by the media what to eat, how to eat, what is the next big diet? The problem behind everything lies on the fact that people want everything fast and research desperately the magic pill, the magic diet. How can we lose weight? How can we look good? In the next 25 to 30 minutes, I'll give you a real secret and the real rules about what do you need to do if you want to stick to and really get results in a constantly in a good time manner. I'm not here to pitch and sell everything, anything. You just will get a tons of value if you watch the video entirely. So let's start by describing you what I dreamed a few days ago. I was living on a magic world without any diet. I didn't have to hear anything like the blood uh, that determines what we need to eat, what we don't need to eat, or the diet is based on point like Weight Watcher, or the meat creates cancer, or anything else like that. The secret of fat loss in that particular war was that the corporate was the person you were looking into the mirror. So by looking into a mirror, you are basically the corporate of you being fat. The reason being, maybe instead of on the salad or only putting like a second oil, you just take 3 or 4 seconds of oil, adding 300 calories to the diet. Or maybe because you have a caloric deficit during the week, and then on the weekend you overdrink yourself to death, which reheats those calories you lost. The secret of fat loss is really simple. All we need to forget about to get results fast, we need consistent, honing the basic rules and time. So we need to do the right things for a period of time that vary from 3 to 6 or 8 months, depending on the amount of pounds that we need to lose. Generally, people would see a great results on 3 months, but obviously if we need to lose 60 pounds, we need to uh, maybe take a year or two, or at least a longer amount of time to do the basic things. The weight loss and fat loss is really simple, but we need to do the right thing for a long amount of time. Let's start with rule number one. We need to make sure that our metabolism functions well. Now, the problem with many people is that are been trying this crash diet for the past 2, 3, 4 months. Every day we have something new thrown at us. So the metabolism start malfunctioning. There have been a deficit, a caloric deficit for a long period of time, creating giving our body a very hard task to do. So we obviously we have to make sure the metabolism functions. We cannot sustain a longer calorie deficit of 1200 or 1000 calorie for a long term, because it will not work. So it's useless that we keep cutting calories further. So we need to reconstruct the metabolism. We need to take 2 to 3 4 months to add progressively carbohydrates in a way that you should be doing it, usually 10% a week. So when we finally make our metabolism function again, then we can actually start in cutting. And I would not cut over 15 to 20% of the calorie per week. Further than that, the idea of working out more and exercising less, as I keep saying on my videos, if you guys follow the channel here, it will create too much of a deficit, and long term your body thinks that you're starving it. So that's not the idea. So for you soup lover, I guess that soup should not only be the main ingredient for lunch or dinner in the diet. Otherwise, you will not realize exactly how low of a calorie deficit you have. Rule number two, I know it's like a drag, but you need to start using this application. Count calorie, count macros. I have here a few. Lose It, Cell Nutrition Data, which gives you a metabolism breakdown and give you an idea of how many calories you're consuming. Why you need to do that? Because if you don't do it, you will tend to undereat. Why? Because you think that undereating will give you a better look, and the scale will tell you what it is that you need to do. The problem with the scale that you need to forget about the scale, because the scale, 3 pounds on the scale, it could be of generally of water, and if you lose 3 pounds in one day, it will definitely be on liquid, water, and muscle most of the time, because muscle weigh more than fat. And another reason behind the scale is that maybe you are really you have a better body composition now, but the fact that this morning you drank a liter of water or a gallon of water, you will see yourself weighing more. So forget about the scale, start tracking your macro, use visuals about serving sizes, very useful. What is the ideal meal, what the plate look like, how many calories is 3 ounces of meat, for example. Um, as I was saying before, those are the basic rules of nutrition that you need to follow to start. Some people are very good with have a very good body composition with 3,000 calories. Some people struggle with 2,000. So you really need to concentrate of gaining all the information you can at the beginning and then track your particular situation. Rule number 3, as I said before, forget the scale. Look at the body composition. Here we have two athletes. One is a bodybuilder athlete. The other one is a almost normal person athlete, 15%. It could be even a little less than that. But some people will look very, very different with a higher percentage of fat. So look at the body composition first. If you don't know what a ideal body composition is, you can Google it, you can contact me. We use in a particular couple of different devices to give you body composition, but definitely you need to go by body composition. For women, the ideal body composition is 15 to 25% your feet. If you want to see the abdominal, I will more go obviously towards 15, like here. For men, we go into about 10 to 20, or maybe like 8 to 18% is fit. If you want to see your abs, obviously you need to go below 10. Rule number 4, let's gather as much information as we can. We are very personalized and we are very unique, and we need to make sure that we are going to be losing the fat and we're going to look the way we want, not by simply following any kind of diet you see online. So let's gather information. Information you should be gathering is your hydration. So obviously with one of those machines on top, BIA, the devices, not the one that you buy on Target for $40 or $100 that tells you you basically look like a scale that you sit on, you go on top of it, and it will tell you the hydration. Those are usually really, really unreliable. You need to go where somebody that does this particular test. Skin fold caliper, this is better for an athlete to see subcutaneous fat. It will not tell you the visceral fat, but even though that, it will tell you a good subcutaneous fat and the fat that you might want to know to look better. But again, hydration level, body composition, so we can really reconstruct the metabolism, body fat versus lean body mass, which consists on organs, bones, and muscle. Blood lab to see your, obviously, if you have any kind of excess triglycerides, diabetes, or anything like that. DNA testing is been proved to be very useful for some people. Lifestyle, what kind of lifestyle you have? Are you stressed? Are you working a lot? Are you very chill? What kind of job do you do? And exercise, are you like a cross trainer, a crossfitter, or you're like basically a resistant training athlete? Are you an endurance athlete? Do you like to go to the bike? You got depending on whatever obviously you do, you're gonna burn a different amount of calorie. You're gonna create different cellular damage. You're going to enhance the metabolism differently. You're going to create a very hormonal response. So obviously we need to know all the information as possible in order to make you personalized program work. Rule number 5, this is as better as I can describe it. Weight loss is like when you jump from a plane. In the beginning you will jump, you will see like a very fast drop, and then as closer we get to the results, you will stop a little bit, and you open a parachute and you will stop. You'll still go down, but a little bit slower. Why is that? Because generally, obviously, the body needs to compensate somehow. It gets used to everything pretty quickly, and usually between 2 and 3 weeks, sometimes a couple of months, but no more longer than that. The adipose cell, the adipocytes gets it doesn't really change on number. It change on size, so it will get smaller, 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 and there is a time after that it start filling with water, just to make not to lose the shape. So what will happen to the fat is simply stay on the bloodstream, and unless that we trick around with the nutrition and with the exercise, you will not oxidize the fat completely when you get closer and closer to the results. So you will see yourself always pretty having good result in the beginning, then stop a little bit, and then you start seeing it again. But the take-home point here is patience. You guys really need to have patience and change. That's why I say this is a lifestyle change. It's not a quick fix, and everybody will tell you the opposite. It's just a really good scammer or a marketer that wants to make you buy something quick. So the key behind those things is to preserve the muscle fiber, because the only thing that will make us long-term burn more calorie and keep the metabolism high is the muscle. So where does it start keeping the muscle fiber alive? By protein. So protein that has been advocated for years, then it's been the devil for another bunch of years. Start with you do need protein. This is one of obviously the 3 or the 4 macronutrient, but the one that in my opinion is more important, because we don't really only need it for muscle, but we need it for the brain, we need it for the skin, we need it for the nails, we need it for all these little things that you don't think about, but we need protein for everything. How much protein is enough? There is not really a good point, there's not really a good number to say, because again, it would take like 45 minutes to explain you why, and it's not the purpose of the video. Purpose of video here is to tell you what not to go below of. So we want to start in the moderate amount of 1 to 1.5 per pound, then scale up to 3 grams per pound, and I would start low, because this, when you're gonna decrease calorie, you can increase protein, and obviously if you start very high in the beginning, then you get to a point that you have to eat like a lot of protein or drink thousands of shakes just to keep the grams high, and it's not the purpose here. Vary the type of protein is very important. Animal, vegetarian protein from nuts, we get from eggs. I will really pay attention to tofu and soy, because it has been proven to have a high producing estrogen level. So I would look at that. Look it up, PRAL. That means it's very, you guys don't hear that a lot, it's a pH level. Remember that protein is acidic, so we need to counterbalance the acidity by inserting some vegetable and fruit in the diet as well. Rule number 7, carbohydrates. Eat organic and eat functional. Many food is being advocated to be organic. In reality, all organic means that it's not been modified. Still, it doesn't mean that it's being grown in the right way. So again, there is a whole other discussion here, but basically look to eat as clean as possible carbohydrates, to find it from a suggested source. If you go to Whole Food, always read the label always see where they're coming from, how they were grown, and all this thing, all this excess of information will help you make sure that the quality of the food is good, because the quality does definitely make a difference. Look not only at the glycemic index, which has been looked for years, but now there is a whole new glycemic index. There is a whole new index, which is the insulinic index, that not only say the carbohydrates raise insulin, but also say that food, for example, like yogurt, that have a very low glycemic index, also raise insulin even 3 times as much. So again, it's not as simple as people think just by looking at that, but also you will need to look at the glycemic load. The glycemic load means that if you're eating whole wheat dish of pasta which has a relatively low glycemic index, but a very high quantity, is going to be worse than eating cucumber or watermelon. Let's say that you eat like a palm of watermelon or a slice. They have a very high glycemic index, but it's very low on quantity. So which one will be better? You can use your brain and think, but obviously glycemic load, I would say it's king, and in this case, obviously watermelon would be better in smaller quantities. So basically, you want to keep this idea to eat carbohydrates, a feast of carbohydrates, and it doesn't really matter what is the carbohydrates type. If you want to have a good idea of what good job are you doing, always buy one of those things on Walgreens that measure your glucose, like diabetics does, and just measure, let's say you eat like a dish or a plate of pasta, just measure after how high is your blood glucose. You might find out interesting information about you, if it's too high, if it's too low. But this way, if it's relatively low or moderate, like it's supposed to be, you might be doing something good as far as at least choosing the right type of carbohydrates. Keep the carbohydrate before 3 hours before and after workouts. So in that window is the best time to eat carbohydrates. Rule number 8, fat. All fat are not the same. Hydrogenated or trans fat, the one that you see on cakes, on popcorn, or anything that is being processed, on processed food that we've been hearing from years, are the fat that is not supposed to be eaten. All the fat has the same amount of calorie, 9 calories per gram, which is the double of carbohydrates and protein, but the type of fat on the left will stop fat loss, while the type of fat on the right will enhance fat loss, will open up a lot of chemical processes that will make your nutrient work better and actually releasing on the bloodstream the fat that you have. So you have to learn how to choose your fat, and the visual here that you have, nothing described better than this, which one you should be shooting. Get healthy fat on your diet. Obviously don't exceed in quantities because the calories are the same. Drink enough, and this one is a tip that is very general, but if you obviously has a sense, if you're able to measure your water, like I said before, so if you can get to anybody that have a device that can measure water, as long as also has usually the metabolism measure as well. So it does measure not only water, but it does measure your basic metabolic rate, your lean muscle mass, and so on. Just get that information. How is your cell hydrated? The water inside the cell, the water outside the cell. Get those information, and in this way you'll see if you're hydrated, if you're dehydrated. So if you're hydrated, you need to drink obviously a different way than if you're dehydrated. But generally, and this again is stuff that you probably never heard of before, generally you need to drink a liter of water per 1,000 kilogram that you are eating. Basically, if you're on a 2,000 calorie diet, you need to drink at least 2 liters, which with the conversion is about almost like I guess not a gallon, but half a gallon a day. In addition to that, you will need to drink 200 milliliter of gram per protein that you ate just to make kidney function work better. So if you drink about a gallon a day of water, you should be fine. And that's like very simplistic, but if you want to go in detail, obviously we can do it together. Rule number 10, how to lift. Lift weights. Like we said before, the metabolic rate is relatively correlated to your muscle mass that you have. You need to preserve the muscle mass, and this is the king. So we need to keep lifting weights in a way or another, and I'm not gonna go in detail of how we lift, but generally 80% of one max repetition of your maximal weight that you can lift. So 80% of that will stress the cells and the muscle fiber, both of building muscle and losing weight. But generally, 80% has been proven to get good result to both people that want to either put on muscle and also for lose weight. Obviously, we need to change the nutrition all over. So we need to train all the muscle fiber. We need to do the right type of cardio. I keep hearing about all these classes, all these new ideas. High interval training that yes is good, like is good, go run. So we really need to see what are we looking to do here if we want to lose weight. Generally, a higher calorie burn is always better. And also, as far as it's been proven by different study, the HIPOC or the afterburn effect that you keep hearing in all these classes is not being really determined, or it's not being really that is groundbreaking. I meaning, like I believe that some research shows that 300 calorie in the next 72 hours after the training, that's what it is. So if you think about it, if you go for a run twice or three times a day, you already burn 900 calories. So which one is better? Again, depend who you are, depend if you like to run, if you like to do cardio. But what is generally that is been stressed in this particular rule, you don't need to over stress your body. So we need to find an amount of time that you can eat by week, and not overseek that and not underseed that, and stay in the on the balance. Because if you don't, your body will get stressed and then you will stop the weight loss. And that's why it says cycle training and nutrition. Obviously, there is this motto here that it says we can eat more and exercise more, or eat less and exercise less. In a month, we should be doing both in different amounts, and obviously it's where the personalization comes in, and it's not so simple that I could say it in 20 minutes here. Rule number 11. We have the stress release factor, decrease cortisol. Obviously, we need to do as many leisure activity as possible when we don't see a weight loss, because it means that our body's been going towards overtraining. Though we need to do some of these particular things to get the cortisol level down. Sometimes it means that you can sleep more, you can look at the view, you can go for a relaxed walk. Rule number 12, which metabolism are going to be we using? Again, here is there is like a big debate. Are we using the glucose metabolism? Are we using the fat metabolism? The ketogenic diet is better than the Mediterranean diet. The reality is that when we look at the same amount of calorie that we're taking less, both of them are going to work well. In general, and I'm talking about again in general, when we have men over 25 men over 15% of fat, women over 25, low carb will work better for you until you get to those percentages. When you go under those percentages, high carb, low fat will work better. Why? Because carbohydrates get a better metabolism function, and also leptin function, which is the hormone that regulates our hunger. And so it will get much better results and better body composition doing it this way. Again, very general. If you do this for a long time, you will see a result. And if you want something a little bit more specific, obviously I suggest you contact us or anybody that is good on this job. Rule number 13. Do not count calories daily, but at least weekly or monthly, because we need to incorporate higher calorie day a week. And we need to incorporate an higher calorie week every 6 months, because your body cannot be on diet for, nor you can cycle one nutrient or getting rid of one nutrient every more than 14 days. You will automatically stop your fat loss. As we said, here there was 13 rules that are not a secret. You probably hear some of them before, but if you do for the long term, this will give you a real result. Results are made of small sacrifices every day, not a quick fix, not a magic pill, not a crazy diet or crash diet, and so on. So my name is Jeremy, and here you can see some of my credentials. I have hundreds of people getting body transformation, and I help thousands getting their lifestyle habits back the way that you were born. What we have, lastly, on this small video, we are offering only temporarily for maybe the first until we fill up the position, maybe the first 10 to 20 people, to come on board with us with a free transformation session. And again, that's exactly what it is. It's a free transformation session. So all you need to do is click the link here. It will give you like a small application that you will tell me some more information about yourself. And why I'm offering you this, because these steps took me years of study to come up with. Obviously each step would go in detail, but to come up with those steps, and it took me, usually a people alone, it takes about 1 to 2 years to master. And my promise here is that I can teach all this concept with the right training and train you in the process in the next 3 to 5 months. So again, this is a limited offer. If you don't want to take it, don't take it. This method will still work though. So I really suggest you click and you get in board with us for your free transformation session. And again, you don't need to do anything else. I wish you the best and an amazing, amazing day.